Welcome to Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. On this podcast, we journey through the devastating experience of the death of a child. Grief is seldom discussed openly in our culture, and the death of a child makes people feel even more uncomfortable. We approach the topic openly and honestly, speaking to people who have lost loved ones and experts who help care for them. Whether you are a parent experiencing loss or someone who wants to support another going through this tragedy, this podcast strives to offer hope and help.
Welcome to episode number 352 of Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. I'm Marcy Larson, Andy's mom. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce you to two guests. These two guests have founded an amazing organization that I cannot wait for all of you to hear about. This organization is called La Luz de Isaiah. So that in Spanish is the light of Isaiah. And you'll hear the story behind how that name came to be. But I just really cannot wait for all of you to hear about this and write into them and find out more information about this, because they might be able to help you in ways that you don't yet know. This organization provides something called dragonfly wishes, and I know now that they picked dragonfly wishes because that's Isaiah's favorite insect was a dragonfly, and he loved all things insect, but they did not realize the spiritual significance of the dragonfly. So I am just going to read that a little bit here. So I just looked this up, and it says dragonflies are powerful symbols of transformation, metamorphosis, and the afterlife, often representing the spirits of departed loved ones returning to reassure those left behind. So they're supposed to be a reassurance of the afterlife, symbolizing transformation and growth, shifting from an earthly physical existence to a spiritual one. And they're a symbol of hope and signs of memory. So I just love that. And I want you to think about that as we talk a little bit about these dragonfly wishes. Overall, both of these women just got me so excited for what's going to be happening in their future. And I know you're going to love it too. I also wanted to talk a little bit again about sponsorship. So I am excited that we had 3 sponsors for 3 weeks in a row, which was really exciting. Now, we don't have a sponsor for this week's episode, but again, if you would like to sponsor an episode, you can go to the donate page at andysmom.com, and you can spend $125 to donate an episode in memory of your child or another child. If $125 seems like too much, we accept any amount of donation. I really do appreciate these donations. They help to make us be able to reach more people and do even more. So I'm excited about that. If you want to share your story on the podcast, feel free to email me. Email me at Marcy, M-A-R-C-Y, at andysmom.com. I just love hearing from people and hearing from guests, and I'm always excited to be able to share more stories. And I'm so happy that Jessica decided to be brave and send that email to me and just talk to me about what I'm doing, because it really gave us an opportunity to work together, which I think is just amazing. Right now, I just want you to sit back and enjoy listening to Isaiah's mom, Mona, and Jessica. Thank you so much to Mona and Jessica for agreeing to come on the Always Andy's Mom podcast today.
We're so happy to be here, Marcy. Thank you for taking the time and
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I think this will be a great discussion. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your organization, but especially more about your little son, Isaiah, Mona. So I think we'll get started by just talking to you about Isaiah.
Okay. Yeah. My favorite topic.
I know, isn't it though?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was just such a kind, sweet boy. He was fun, and he was hilarious. Like, he just had quick little one-liners that would come out of nowhere. Sorry, I'm gonna get emotional. It's you don't get many opportunities to just kind of freely talk like this,
No, you don't.
And it's there's so much surrounding the passing. But he told me at least 10 times a day that he loved me. He was just so loving. I mean, I would hear it just throughout the house. Mom, I love you. And he would just run, zip around, just back and forth, back and forth. He had a lot of energy.
I have to tell you, he sounds a lot like my Andy.
Yeah.
We actually used to have arguments in some ways that he would tell me that he loved me more, and I would tell him, no, I love you more. And
Yeah.
he would just go on and on, no, Mom, I love you more. I love you more. And finally it would be like, I would say to him, Andy, when you have a kid, you'll know. And you will love that child more than me. But of course, that never happened.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then there were other times that I would just say, well, agree to disagree, Andy.
Yeah. I know. I remember there was this one moment I just kind of I lost my patience and I just felt so bad. And so he was in his room, he was in bed. There's a song that I always imagined that we would dance to when he got married. And it was Simple Band by Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
And so I played it for him and he just he started crying and he said, you just love me so much. And I said, I do.
I just had a mom on a few weeks ago, and she danced with her son at their wedding to that song.
Oh.
He played it for her right before, on the day he graduated. He played it for her in the car, and then they danced to it at his wedding. And he died a few years later. So,
oh man.
But that's really special that you said that.
Yeah, that is.
Very same song, such a short time later.
That is. I know. So, I'm glad. I'm happy she got to dance with him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So was he your first?
He was my only.
Yeah, first and only.
Yeah.
He made you a mama.
He sure did. And I mean, I would even, knowing the outcome, I would do it a million times over and over and over. It's worth the pain, I guess. I mean, the love definitely overshadows the pain.
Right.
So
it is funny because that's so true. I mean, it hurts so much.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to give up a second of it just because it hurts badly now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he made you a mama.
He did. And it was my favorite thing to do. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But we were very close. We were very, very close. It was we were just went on a lot of road trips together. He was very close to my stepson. They were 3 weeks apart.
Okay.
My ex-husband and I, we met when they were about 5. So it was just kind of immediate brothers, immediate besties. And so, but
that's special.
Yeah, it was special.
So talk about him growing up.
Growing up, it was the two of us until then. And my mom, they were best friends. They were very close. Yeah, he was just, he was so easygoing, and we were just kind of trying to figure life out, or I was trying to figure life out with him, and he just went along with so many things. We lived in California for a little while. I was a single mom, so I didn't have much money, but we would hang out at the beach all day. I have a big family, a lot of cousins, and so he got to, he was really close to his cousins. They were still messaging each other almost every day, I think, his god sister. And I don't know, he was just really cool. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I love seeing your smile as you talk about him.
I know. I love smiling when I talk about him. I mean, it took a while to be able to talk about him.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I don't know. Yeah, the episode that I listened to, it talked about community.
Yeah.
And that's something that I kind of have been wanting to get more into, because I don't know, that's when I've been able to talk about him in this way.
Yeah. It's a very isolating experience, losing a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And And then I think the first time I went to a support group, I didn't realize how isolating that was until
Yeah.
I was actually in a room with other people that had experienced the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was always just very encouraging. He was so patient.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't. And he would just always remind me. Like one time we were making a gingerbread house. And I think that must have been the first and last time because that was not my deal. But I was, kind of like, Isaiah, do it this way, do it that way. And I ended up dropping the roof and just breaking it. And, a big chunk of the roof. And he was like, it's okay, Mom. It's just, he was able to show compassion and patience even when I wasn't. And he just was a constant reminder to be kind. And he was just a good guy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk a little bit now about what happened to Isaiah?
Yeah.
It's always a hard topic, I know.
I know. My ex-husband and we had just got property up north, and he was going to go up and clear some trees. Oh gosh, I guess I didn't think about, but there was an accident while they were up there, and I wasn't able to. I didn't go with them because we were going to be going to California the weekend after, so I stayed home to pack.
Mm-hmm.
And clean the house and everything. And then I got a knock on the door and it said, your son's been in an accident. You need to get to Flagstaff Medical as soon as possible, which was 2.5 hours away. So that drive was, oh my gosh, like it was,
Yeah.
I was so, so scared. And so I kept calling and they wouldn't tell me anything. And all these thoughts were racing in my mind. Maybe he's paralyzed, I couldn't bring myself to that, think of the worst.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, they still wouldn't tell me anything. And they had me go into the social worker's office to wait for the doctor. And then the doctor came out and told me that he was gone. And so, yeah. And they walked me back there and yeah, it was. Yeah, because he loved to camp. He loved being outside. He got to do a lot.
How old was he?
He was 13.
13.
Yeah.
Almost the same as my Andy. Because my Andy was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So hard. Just when they're just kind of starting to grow up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And getting a little more independent.
Getting a little more independent. I think he liked his first girl. Just talking to this girl, and I was just very, like maybe a few weeks before, like a whole other life was about to start, but.
Yeah, I always think about, Andy, it was a couple of years actually before he died, but he came home off the bus one day and he said to me, Mom, I think Emma would be a really nice girl to marry.
Oh.
And Emma was the sister of one of Peter's best friends. And so I always to this day think, what would that be like if Emma would have been my daughter-in-law? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I even told her, I didn't tell her right when he died. Obviously, that would have been too much. But when she was quite a bit older, going into college, I said, Andy told me that he thought you would be a really nice girl to marry.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's a sweet girl. She is a sweetheart. It's a really nice family, so.
I know. Yeah. And then, the what ifs, they still get me. They still get me. How long has it been?
So it will be 8 years in August.
Wow.
How about for you?
It will be 6 years in June.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is just still kind of insane.
Hard to wrap your head around.
It is still hard to wrap your head around.
I thought the 5-year mark was really hard for me.
Yeah.
We so tend to kind of measure things at those milestone levels, like a 5-year anniversary, a 10-year anniversary, work anniversary, or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are always bigger things. So I felt like that was a big one,
Yeah.
that 5-year.
Yeah, I can see that because today I was thinking about it, that it's almost 6 years, and in 4 more years it will be a whole decade,
Yeah, I know.
and then you think, and then a lot longer after that.
Yeah,
And
I know.
so,
It's having to go a long time, a long time.
yeah,
Well, why
yes.
don't you talk about that grief journey a little bit and what that has looked like for you?
It's been different lately.
Yeah,
I started EMDR,
yeah,
and yeah, so I have not yet processed the day, his death yet. I'm kind of working up to that.
yeah.
And so I don't know if you've ever done EMDR. So it's
I have, I have.
yeah.
So funny. I just saw my therapist today and
Uh
I had not a good dream about Andy, and she's like, I know you don't like it when we do EMDR, but it would
yeah,
probably really help this.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's so dreaded.
It really has helped. It has helped a ton for
Yeah.
me, but I do hate it. I mean, I hate doing it. I don't know
Hmm.
about you.
Yeah, I do. It wipes me out.
Yeah.
Like it just is so exhausting, and I
It,
dread it. I mean, I almost have to just plan my whole month around, well,
yeah.
I know with I plan on doing it next month.
Mhm. But you have to kind of gear yourself up for it a little bit. You have to be ready going in.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like you. It is really exhausting to the point of at an end of a session,
Hmm.
I am literally almost asleep at the end after we do it
Yeah,
because it's just so incredibly exhausting.
it's so exhausting. My eyes feel, yeah, like I can't wait to lay down
Yeah.
and just do nothing.
I mean, Andy was killed in a car accident, so
Hmm.
it had been extremely difficult for me to drive. We have a cottage up north
Yeah.
where we have to go past the accident site every time we go, and I couldn't. I mean, we would drive
Yeah.
past the accident site. I wouldn't. I mean, occasionally I had to, and it just was awful. I'd have to pull off the road. I mean, I remember 2 times. One time my husband was driving. I had to have him pull off the road and I threw up. Another time I was driving. I had to pull off the road
Yeah.
and throw up. Because it just was so awful. And the EMDR was helpful so that I no longer do that. You know, I can
Yeah.
drive on that road and be, relatively okay.
Yeah. I had to put my dog to sleep on
Yeah.
Monday. And he was actually Isaiah's dog.
Yeah. Oh,
And it's, oh my gosh. And so the process, it was so triggering, just waiting in the waiting room for the doctor to tell me what's wrong with the dog and, with my dog. And a lot of things were so triggering, but I think because of the EMDR, I was like, okay, just kind of contain it for therapy, just put it so that my thoughts aren't continuously ruminating, just not,
yes.
so yeah, I mean, it has been helpful, and I am dreading it, but I, I don't know where it's gonna lead me, but so far it's left me light.
It can be really helpful with healing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's left me feeling really, really light. And my journey has been up and down. My go-to, I've learned that it is isolation. I just kind of grieve by myself, and I think that is because it's hard to grieve with others,
Uh-huh.
and it's a very different. It's really different. And then not wanting to be a downer.
And it's different than other types of grief.
Yeah, it is. That's something I've definitely been wanting to work on, knowing the difference between solitude and isolation.
Hmm. Oh, I like that. I like
Yeah,
that comment.
yeah.
Yes, elaborate on that a little bit for people.
Well, I mean, I think that was just, like I said, it was my go-to because I didn't want to be a downer when I was around people. For example, with my family, we have such a big family, a big close family.
Mhm.
And so it was just, and it was really, that's when I would feel his absence the most
Yes.
because of all of his cousins, his age range, just growing up. And so it was easier for me just not to go
Yeah.
and just miss out on it, or if I was having a hard time, just kind of shut away, just crawl into a cave until I felt better instead of leaning on people.
Mm-hmm.
While that I think is necessary for a little period of time, it was lonely.
Yeah.
And so it's something I had to break out of, and I wanted to learn how to lean on people that wanted to be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my,
Because other people really feel blessed when they can help you.
yeah.
And it's
yeah.
hard to accept that, I think, when you're really grieving, because as you were saying, you feel like I'm just going to be a downer, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to spend time with me. I'm just sad. But really, I mean, other people oftentimes feel quite blessed if they can do something. So allowing people to help you can actually be a blessing for them. So it's not that you're being a burden. You are allowing someone to bless you, and that is good for them, because otherwise they feel so, they feel powerless to be able, like, what can I do? What can I do? And if you let them do little things and come alongside you and be there and listen, it is a blessing for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to accept that
It is.
as a grieving person. Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard to explain how you're feeling,
Yes.
or explain that you don't want to talk, or you
Yes.
don't want to explain how you're feeling. I know for me, I know I force myself to be on for other people, and so it just, I don't know if it's because of my line of work or just who I am naturally, but a lot of people would tell me, like, your mask is so good, like I can't even tell, that you're grieving. And in my mind, I'd be like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to look like.
Yes.
Like, am I supposed to just be a crying, grieving mother, clutching my, son's picture, just walking around crying? I don't know how else to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just so whenever I would feel exhausted from having to be on, I would just kind of retreat.
Yeah. Wear a lot of different masks, don't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. And so I still don't know how to not do that.
That's a hard thing, I think. And sometimes you have to, and sometimes I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, there are times when you're just different.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'm a pediatrician, and I remember being somewhere, and I know, I took my son Peter out for pancakes, and there was a mom in there, and she was in there with her probably maybe 3-year-old girl, and then she's holding a baby, and suddenly, and we're all waiting for a table. So we're all in this little area waiting for a table. Suddenly it starts raining. And she says, "Oh, my car windows are down. I need to put up the car windows." And I could tell she's like flustered and looking around and not sure what to do to bring both kids out with her to get the windows up. But that's going to be hard because they're like 3 and an infant. And I looked at her and I said, I'm a pediatrician. I will watch your 3-year-old. And she said, or watch your little girl. And she said,
Yeah.
That would be great. And she, runs out to put the window up. I start talking to the little girl about her Minnie Mouse boots, and pretty soon I know about her last trip to Disney World. I know about her best friends in kindergarten. I know all of this stuff. And it was not very long, right?
Yeah.
And the mom comes back in and she thanks me. And, then later, and the little girl has to come up and wave to me when we're having our pancakes. And Peter's like, he's just looking at me weird. And I said, "Oh, you've never seen Dr. Larson, have you? That's what Dr. Larson is like, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Larson is this, tell me about your boots," and going on and on about this. And he he knows me as mom. And then I
Mhm.
realized, yeah, I put on it's a total different persona that I have when I'm Kid Dr. Larson, right? And
Yeah.
but it's a good analogy, I think, for what we do as grieving people too. You end
Hmm.
up putting on this mask and being different, and to a certain extent that can be okay. It
Yeah.
can help you to get through. It can help you so you're not like feeling it every single second. And I
Yeah.
think it's fine. It's just sometimes people feel like that's, disingenuous somehow, or people are going to judge you one way or the other. Who cares what people think? But
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
easy to feel that way. But we do that in lots of other parts of our lives. So I think it's okay if you feel like you need to do that some. It's just that you
Yeah.
don't want to do that all the time, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
still feel like I can do this sometimes, but other times I'm feeling it. I'm living it. I'm working through it. And whether it's
Yeah.
time with a therapist or time with a dear close friend or time in solitude by yourself. I mean, those
Yeah.
are times when you have to make sure that you're not always behind the mask.
Yeah. And I struggled with that for a little
Hmm.
while, which I think led to kind of feeling kind of like an imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
just like, okay, now I'm always on. And, but also I think I wanted to be able to be vulnerable around people. And that's
Hmm.
what it was doing. It was stopping me from really connecting with people in that way and
That's true.
yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
and showing them that, yeah, I am sad. I'm not happy all the time.
Right.
And I haven't processed this well. And I maybe not haven't even processed it at all, And so it's just like, but
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I get that.
Well, talk to me about La Luz de Isaiah.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we can that has a lot to do with it. That
Yeah.
it provided a way for my community to help, when I needed just space. And so and it
So how did the idea come about?
my we were just Jessica's sister.
Uh-huh.
She had worked, all over the world, and we were just kind of talking about, anything I wanted to do with Isaiah, and so it came up in that way because I wanted to be able to, memorialize him in some way, and so it just kind of came up in that way, and it just took off.
If I can,
Yeah, do you want to step in here for a second,
yeah,
Jessica?
because sometimes I think Mona doesn't give herself the credit she really.
See, that's what I was suspecting was happening here. And I was like, you know what? We're going to step away from Mona for a second and let Jessica chime in because I think the story is going to be a little bit different from your perspective, won't it?
Yeah.
I can tell that humility coming out of Mona right now.
It is, and she's an occupational therapist, so that's just like
Assistant.
part of her life. Her heart, is always just looking out for others and loving others. And I know she mentioned like Isaiah always had a big heart and a kind heart, and Mona, for me, really like exudes that. And so on the day of his celebration of life, so it was 2020, and we had all just, gone there as soon as we could. And we were sitting there, and Mona spoke some words that really resonated with my twin and I. And she said, I really want to collect some money and give it to a charity in his name. Do you guys have any ideas? And just that was at the forefront of her mind, that was something, as being like you said, like somebody who on the outside, like, how do we help this person? Like, we can't help them. We
Yeah.
can't take away their pain. What do we do? It
Yeah.
really struck my sister and I. And like Mona was saying, my twin at the time was a director of an orphanage called Footsteps Missions in Honduras. So she lived there for a while and had come back, but was still the director from a distance. And so the next day, my sister calls me and she's like, hey, Footsteps is in need of a medical and dental clinic. What do you think if we somehow collect this money and call it La Luz de Isaiah Clinic? And I thought, I've never done this. Let's just do it. This is how we can do it. We were
Hmm.
trusting God. We're trusting the words that Mona spoke. We are wanting to show up for her. And do what we can and, like without thinking about it, but what you said about that's a way to bless someone is to let them,
Yeah.
that came in with, again, not as it was happening, but in hindsight.
Yeah. Because you just want to do something,
Yeah.
right?
You just want to do something. You just want to show up without overwhelming and
Yes.
without being ignorant and without overstepping, but somehow finding that balance of like, where does love exist in this for this person? And how can you show up without, getting in the way of their own grief, because we're on the outside of this. And I know for me, what resonated was you just show up. That's
Yeah.
it. You
Yep.
just show up. There
Hmm.
isn't a rule book, and this was our way of showing up, was honoring what she spoke. That really held a lot of love in her words,
Hmm.
And so we just got to it, and that summer we started campaigning, like Mona said, we really brought it to her community, and Mona and Jocelyn and I started doing social media posts and doing a GoFundMe, and eventually we were able to raise, I think it was $80,000
Uh-huh.
to create this clinic. And we gave it the money to the appropriate people. They built this. Like, about a year and a half later, Mona and I were talking. We're like, I think it's time for us to go and inaugurate this and really show Mona the fruits of her words,
Yeah.
you know, and what this meant. We flew down there, and again, it was just that. That's all we were planning on do was La Luz de Isaiah Clinic.
Hmm. Which is the light of Isaiah. So if you don't know Spanish, the light of Isaiah,
And in
right?
the clinic and the
Hmm.
way it would serve this community wasn't small by any means. And I know it was part of God's plan in part of this. And so Mona, my sister, her cousin Joan, and a couple others came to Honduras. And there was actually a group of girls who were there on a missionary trip
Hmm.
who just happened to be there, and they knew that we were there to inaugurate the clinic, but they wanted to give it. They're like, can we do something? We really want to do something to make it special. And we're like, yes, what do you want? And Mona said that his favorite insect was a dragonfly. So they created the most beautiful mural as a gift to Mona and to Isaiah. When you walk in, it's right in the first wall.
Uh-huh.
But they spent 2 days just like nonstop working on it.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
And
Oh,
again, allowing them to bless this,
yes. Yes.
experience that we all got to experience. And when everything was done, when we did the memorial, and Mona and I did a short film that is on our website, and you can see part of that journey on there. I can speak to that in a minute. But it was when we got back that I talked to Mona and I said, I just saw what it did for her.
Yeah.
And I just, even though it was in a moment, it's still for me like it's a possibility to plant a seed of hope, extended purpose, or something that maybe a parent can carry with them.
Yes.
After I said, I know we've thought about doing more La Luz de Isaiah clinics, around Honduras. I just want to throw this idea out there. What do you think of doing this for other parents and making wishes for other parents and giving them that same experience? And Mona was like, I was already going to call you to ask you that. Like,
Really? You had the thought too, Mona?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. So, because it was such, I mean, a bless. I can't. I have no words for what it did
Yeah.
for my heart, and so to be able to gift that to another parent, because it just, I, it was hard for me to feel like God didn't love me,
Yeah.
like right after, and it was you just kind of feel like maybe you did something wrong for something so
Yeah.
horrible to happen. You don't know.
Am I being punished for something? That kind of thoughts. Those kind of thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my mom passed away 10 months before Isaiah's accident. And so when the three of us were very close, it was, she raised me as a single mother and I raised, and so we were just such a close unit. And so that was like, okay, am I not supposed to have, I don't know, is there, and so my relationship with God was tumultuous at first for sure. And I was not happy with it. But that whole experience, it made me feel like God didn't forget me, and not saying that all that had to happen for this reason, but
Right.
it just really, I think that's where I first saw God.
I always like to put it this way too, because,
Mhm.
obviously a lot of good from the podcast to other things we've done has come since Andy has
Mhm.
died. But I never like to say, like what you said, that Andy had to die for all of this to happen,
Yeah.
or even because Andy died, all this good happened.
Yeah.
I always say, despite the fact that Andy died, this
I
good
like
can
that.
come of it.
Yeah.
So I just had a guest
I
on
love
the one that was released yesterday. He said, even though,
Oh, yeah. I love that.
he wrote a book, even though we will.
Oh,
And I think that's beautiful. That just think of it as like we can have good, amazing, wonderful, purpose driven things, even though this horrible thing happened.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the kind of birthplace of that. It's so beautiful. I love that because obviously as a pediatrician and I've had we fostered from Guatemala and he was in kidney failure and he got a Make-A-Wish trip, and people do these Make-A-Wish trips. They do all these trips and all these good things for families whose kids are dying.
Yeah.
But after the child has died, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah.
There really isn't. And even I've even known of some families who have done some things after their child's died, but they're always doing it for the family when their child is dying, when they're going through this. And I do think this is really unique and really special because it is for the parents to help remember the child and honor the child. And it all happens after the death, which you just don't hear of that at all.
Yeah.
People getting support in that, right? You end up trying to do some stuff on your own. Like I'm doing the podcast. I've talked to different people who have tried to do stuff on their own. And that is really hard because you are really lost and really feeling alone. And let's think about this, Mona. I mean, you said that at the celebration of life. But if Jessica and her sister had not stepped up and really truly listened to you, you wouldn't have been able to do this on your own.
No, I would.
You wouldn't have.
I could hardly. Yeah, you can hardly get out of bed and do what you need to do, let alone such a huge
undertaking.
Undertaking. Yeah, and my whole community had to jump in and help, and it gave them all the opportunity to show me how much they love me without
you having to do it.
Exactly.
Because you just don't have the energy to do it. So this is why this really felt so cool to me, because you are helping people to do things that they really want to do, but they do not have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So talk about then what happened after you guys had that conversation, like, let's try to help other people do this.
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica. Go, Jessica.
I remember I was living in New York at the time as a fashion and beauty photographer over there. So I was more like a little bit freelance and, working out the space in my head, like, okay, how do we do this? And I remember I was in the kitchen and Mona and I had that conversation, and then we just got to it. And it's like, well, I've never started a nonprofit. I'm also not a grieving parent. And I really took this to God and continue to take it to God so that I know that I'm following the steps I'm supposed to be following. And Mona's been really good about, because I can be a racehorse. I can like, we got to do this, got to do this, we got to do this, and then we got to do that. And I have to remember that everything is in God's timing and not mine. And Mona, even though she's a co-founder, she's a grieving mother first.
Yes.
And that is always the priority to make that safe space for her while we navigate this. And so I started going online and figuring out how to start a nonprofit
Uh-huh.
and did all the paperwork with my accountant. And he was like, you're being really thorough. It doesn't need to be so thorough. I'm like, it has to be. We're dealing with like wanting to help grieving parents. I'm not going to miss a step. Like, we have to do this the right way. And he's like, and so we incorporated with our 501(c)(3. He's like, this is the fastest one I've ever experienced. He's like, he was preparing me. He's like, just know it takes about a year or 2 years. Like, it's not a priority for governments to sign off on these. It takes some time. I'm like, okay, well, let's just do it and we'll just see. And he messaged me after I sent all the paperwork. It was a total of maybe 4 months, 4 or 5 months, of like me starting it, giving
Yeah.
the paperwork, and then getting the letter in the mail that we had incorporated. And he was like, congratulations, you're a 501(c)(3). So then I started reaching out to our community, our close friends, and people that I knew were in positions that could possibly help us or support us while we were starting. And so we had a friend who was willing to do creative direction for our website and just get our logo going. And so everything really just took a little bit of like an organic step. And then we got there, and then we're there, and now we have the website, and now we're in this position where we're like, okay, well, we have these we call them dragonfly wishes. So I want to
I know. I
just,
love that term.
if you go on our website, it's called Dragonfly Wishes. That's what we're referring to. And we have an application there. We're in, it's a position where, you really need to trust God, because we don't have the funds in there. And it's like, okay, God, I don't want to promise a parent anything I can't do.
Yeah.
I don't know when to kick this off. Where does it start? When do we know it's time? And so I just started reaching out from our resource pages that Mona and I were looking towards. I'm like, I'm going to reach out to people and just see how we connect and how we network. And that's how we're finding ourselves here with you, Marcy. I was just so
Yeah.
taken by not just your podcast, but really your dedication. Like, I saw the list and the categories and how inclusive you've been with all of your podcasts and the time that you've just taken to talk to parents. It was a no-brainer to put you on our resource page. We were just so honored and
Right. That's
happy.
what you emailed me. You emailed me just saying, hey, I'd really like to put you on our research page, our resources page. Would that be okay with you? And, and we're kind of doing this. What would you think, or whatever? And I like, oh my word. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really a no-brainer for me too,
Oh.
just because I've wanted this for
Oh.
grieving parents. I really have. I've really felt like it's a space that's so incredibly lacking. I've had so many parents on. I've had a lot of parents on, and I've had parents that form their own 501(c)(3) and are doing all this stuff and have, a race for their kid every year, or a golf thing, or they're doing a lot of stuff, right? Or have a whole organization, and they've been on national TV, all this. And then I've had other moms reach out and say, I haven't really done anything. I don't.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're not good enough to be on the podcast or something.
Oh.
Like, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you've done. It doesn't matter what you've not done. I mean, I have people that their contribution is and I love this, is that they paint little rocks. They paint little rocks and leave them places for people to find and pick up in their child's memory. I have a friend who gives out movie tickets for her son's birthday. I mean,
Love that. Yeah.
these are such beautiful, wonderful things, and no less than a 501(c)(3). But I feel like so many of these people feel like, I just want to do something, and I just can't. And then they feel really inadequate
Yeah.
because they can't. And then I think, well, this would be such a way to help them, right?
Yes.
To-
Yeah.
Because your dragonfly wishes, I'm sure they can be big, or they can be
They can
little.
be-
They can be
yes.
however they
They
want.
can-
But it's just so hard to be able to do it on your own.
Yeah. For so many reasons, because a lot of times you have to go back to life. And
Yeah.
then life starts, taking over, and then years go by and you're like, oh, I really wanted to do that. Now it's just,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, what kinds of things are you hearing from people yet? Have you gotten some people do
You're,
applications or not? I mean, I know you're early.
you're our world premiere. So you are our world premiere. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But this is what I'm thinking. Like, you
Yeah.
obviously, for Isaiah, you did a medical dental clinic. This is big. Okay?
Yeah.
But
But it
I mean,
doesn't have, yeah.
could somebody come to you and they just want a bench in a park? I mean,
absolutely.
Well, yeah, that was actually one of the things who brought that up, you or your sister.
I think,
Like-
well, I don't even remember, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
On our page, when you go to the Dragonfly Wish, we give examples, and we give examples that are just so that a parent can understand. It can be a little art fair, not little, again, I won't want to use that word. It can be a small art fair for your community. It could be a bench in a park. It could be whatever resonates with your child. That is our main focus, is how do we take your child's passion and drive it into a community where you can receive that love? And that comes in every size. And there is absolutely no boundaries that we have in place for that. We want people to be able to express and go through the applications and see what we can really do. We don't want to do anything that we're not going to have the funds to do. We want to be very transparent in our communication. So we just say, bring it, and we're going to bring it to God, and we're going to pray, and we're going to just trust that the Dragonfly wishes that are in front of us are the ones that we want to honor and will honor. We will pray about.
yeah. And that's why I wanted to mention something like a bench, because if
Agree.
you want to put a bench in a park, you've got to talk to the county or the township or town or city, wherever you have to talk to all of these people. Then they're probably going to give you a price of, like, I don't know. I think I've heard some are $1,500. I had one that they said it's going to be $3,500. Like, and there are people like, I don't have $3,500 to be able to do this, but gosh, I really want to. And they're really feeling like this would be a amazing thing to do, but they're afraid to have to call the town.
Yep.
They're afraid to have to go through those steps, and they're afraid for what that final ticket price is going to be, because $3,000 isn't something they're going to be able to have, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I love that, because I feel like these are the kinds of things that you're going to be able to pick up the phone for them. And you're not going to break down crying, Jessica, when you talk to the county about the possibility of planting a tree or putting in a bush or doing something, right? You're going to be able to do that and help them and be that voice for them.
Yep. I am 100% committed to being the advocate and really picking up, like I said, I was a fashion and beauty photographer in New York. I can hold my own. I will go to bat and make sure that
she
these things done. And, I don't have any doubts, like I said, that God will bring them to us, and he will also bring the funding. And all we have to do, and all I have to do, is show up and use my voice and really give parents what they may be looking for in that moment.
And if they want to do something bigger and they've got some bigger ideas, you can help them because you've done the fundraising for the bigger ideas. So is La Luz de Isaiah going to be able to fund something big? Probably not. But can you help them figure out how to go about fundraising and asking their own community and their own friends to be able to do that?
Absolutely.
Yes, you're going to be able to help them do that, because that's also very hard. Okay. I'm going to tell you. So Andy went to church camp with our church every year to this camp that's about an hour away. Shortly after he died, a couple years after he died, they wanted to start building new cabins because the cabins were really bad. They're just dingy and awful and horrible. And I thought, I want to raise some money in Andy's name to do that, right? To have maybe part of one of those cabins dedicated to him. Well, the cabins are $250,000. They were just going to build one cabin. $250,000. And because it's got like it's got a big living area, it's got like a kitchen, and then it's got basically the equivalent of 2 cabins, one on each side that would house, I think, 12 or maybe 16 kids apiece. So it fits a lot of kids in the cabin. But I mean, we can't give $250,000 to this. And so I was like, well, maybe I can raise 50, maybe. And we talked to our church, and our church had wanted to contribute anyway, because our church is one of the main churches that goes to the church camp. And then like, okay, I kind of put it out on social media and the Always Andy's Mom social media and bring things up a little bit. But it feels uncomfortable to do it.
Yeah.
It feels really uncomfortable. But the church got behind it, and we ended up blowing past our $50,000 goal.
Oh, amen.
Oh, I love that.
And they dedicated that big sitting area room to Andy. There's a
Oh.
picture of Andy, a little description of Andy. I sobbed the whole ceremony. We were at the ribbon cutting ceremony. I have had people come up to me and talk to me since, because they've been to the camp and they've seen Andy's picture in there.
Oh.
So it's a beautiful thing, but it does feel uncomfortable to ask people for money. I have to say, for me personally, too, with the podcast, I've never asked for money. And I never really got money because I didn't ask. And then it was last fall, a woman said, hey, how much does an episode cost to put out? And I figured it out. And I said, about $125 with all the different people I have to pay.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'd like to sponsor an episode. And I said, okay. And then I was like, well, maybe I should tell people that it costs $125 to put on an episode, and just see if people want to contribute. I don't know. And turns out probably, I mean, sometimes I will have a whole month where every episode is sponsored. Sometimes
I love that.
it's half or less. It's fine. But I mean, it's way more than it ever was before, just because now I'm kind of brave enough to ask. But it took me a long time to be brave enough to ask, right? So
Yeah.
this is why I think you can help so much, because you can help people be brave enough to ask.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel a little bit of imposter syndrome to be in this position, but I, at the same time, I want to step in. I want to be able to, for our foundation, to be that voice. And I want, like Mona said something really beautiful earlier when she went to La Luz de Isaiah, and she said, that's where I realized, like, I'm not forgotten. God still loves me. I'm still here and I'm being seen. And I feel like that's a huge, huge thing that's on my heart, to make sure that parents know that they are seen, that, just because they're walking alone in this, there's an opportunity to be, shown love, more than what they're experiencing at that time. And like I said, I'm feeling very honored to be in this conversation with both of you. I know that, I'm not, I haven't felt your pain or your grief, and I just want to thank you for letting me be in this conversation. And I just, I have a lot of respect and love for both of you.
Well, I just love, though, the fact that you weren't scared and you just showed up anyway. And maybe you were scared, but you showed up anyway. Right?
Yeah, she showed up. I mean, I got a call from her and her sister and another friend, and they said, we're just gonna drive there. We're just gonna go there. You don't have to be around, when it happened. And then when I got my divorce, I asked if she can come. She stayed with me for 3 months. And, she shows up for sure. She's quite the pit bull when she wants to get something done.
Well, it sounds like you're in the perfect position in La Luz de Isaiah. I love it. I'm really so excited about it. I know you can't tell.
Oh, your reaction is making me excited about it, and it just
No, this is gonna be great. So I am going to encourage my listeners. Jessica and Mona are not going to feel overwhelmed. Just go to the website. check things out. If you have a little dream and something that you wanted to do, put it out there. Okay, put it out there for them to look at it and see what they might be able to do for you. Right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Right.
so give people your website.
It is www.laluzdeisaiah. I'll spell that out. LALUZISAIH.org. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
.org.
I think day too, right?
Day,
Luz Day,
yeah,
Isaiah?
you've got day.
Yeah,
You've
sorry.
got
Yeah.
the day. Okay, so
Yeah.
Let me say it again.
LALUZDE,
Uh-huh.
then Isaiah.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw Mona catch it too. We're both like,
I was like-
oh, don't forget the
It is. It's www.laluzdeisaiah.org. And we
Got it.
for your dragonfly
it.
wishes.
We both
You're
caught
just-
you. Now you've spelled it so many times, no one's going to mess it up.
I know.
I think it's even better this way that we've repeated it a few times. But I wish you so much, in this. I don't want to say luck because I just feel like it's just going to be blessed and will be a blessing for
Thank
others,
you.
and it will just be amazing. So thank
Oh.
you for letting Always Andy's Mom be a part of it.
Thank
Yes.
you. And what you're doing is incredible.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's just, yeah, it
Thank
creates,
you.
yeah. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ladies.
Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful and would like to support the podcast, please leave a 5-star rating and comment. To help financially, you can type Andy's Mom, one word, to the number 53555. This provides a link to GiveButter, which allows donations through PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, or credit cards. GiveButter will provide a receipt of your tax-deductible donation. Or you can visit the donation page at andysmom.com/donate. Always Andy's Mom is a registered 501c3 and can receive donations through Thrivent Financial and Benevity. Marcy loves hearing from listeners. Please feel free to reach out to her via email at marcy@andysmom.com or on the Instagram or Facebook Always Andy's Mom accounts. Sign up for the email list to get weekly episode links as well as pictures of Marcy's guests and their children. Together, let's work to inspire hope, one day at a time.